What's this?
Do not go in the black hole.
I made a platformer game but with zero gravity. Usually in platformer games like Mario, you're jumping from one platform to another while gravity is making sure you're on the ground. But what if it was in space? To answer that question, I made a platformer game in space where you jump between planets that all have different gravities. Now, I took a lot of inspiration from Super Mario Galaxy for this, but stay to the end to see how I make my game unique. So, first things first, we need a character. Usually in these platformer games, they have iconic, recognizable characters, so that's what I wanted to create for my game. I started by drawing this alien in a spacesuit, and then I made the other parts of his body. Then when I got him into Unity, I could split up all those parts and animate him separately. Also, I'm looking for ideas for a name for the alien, so go leave them in the comments. So the first thing I wanted to start working on in the game was his arms. I made it so when your mouse is on the left side of his body, his left arm would follow it, and then the same thing for the right side. This way, each arm would control each side of the body. The next thing I wanted to start working on was the movement. I used what I had with the arms, then I made it so whenever you use your left click, you would be pushed in the opposite direction. This movement I was going for was like thrusters, and I feel like it did that really well. Then, since I didn't want to just be looking at a background, I created this particle system of stars floating around. This made the game feel a lot more alive and already made it start feeling like space. So now, at this point, I feel like the movement was pretty good, but I didn't like how stiff the body was, and I had two options. I could either create animations, or I could create a ragdoll effect for the legs. I decided to go with the ragdoll because I thought it would be a lot funnier and easier to implement. It was definitely not easier to implement, but after a bit of trial and error, I came up with this, and I think it looks perfect. I love how the legs just drag behind your body a bit, and when you're not using the arm as a thruster, it just falls to your side. Now, I feel like we need an effect for whenever you're using your thrusters, so I made this particle system of flames shooting out of your hand. That was pretty much everything for the player. Next, we need to start working on the platforms. I wanted there to be different planets with different gravity levels, so I started drawing up a few planet sprites. I created one that looks like Earth, and then two other ones with just some colors that I thought would look cool together. Then, I got them into Unity, and I started working on the gravity for them. I started by making it so whenever you got close enough to a planet, it would start pulling you in. At first, I had the gravity strength a little too strong, but then I dialed it back a little and I got it how I liked it. I also created this white dotted ring that circles around the planet that shows you when the gravity field starts. This way, you won't be as surprised when you get pulled into it. By the way, I'm just a small channel with 2,000 subscribers, and my goal is to get to 5,000 before school gets out, so please consider subscribing. Anyways, I set up the gravity for the other planets, and then I just tried floating between them. I really like how this system works because you can gain speed by going with the gravity and then launch yourself out at the right time with your thrusters. So now we could hop between the platforms, but we needed something to avoid. So I created this black hole. I opened up Krita and I started drawing the sprite for it. Then I used the same mechanics for the other planets and I made the ring around it red to show that it's dangerous. Now when you fly into it, you'll get sucked into it and you won't be able to escape. At this point, I also decided to find a sound effect for when you're using your thrusters just to make the game feel more responsive. Now you could just fly around and hop between the planets, but you could just stay away from the black hole and you wouldn't have to worry about getting hit. So to add some more challenge to the game, I created these meteorites that will be launched towards you. The way I made these work is whenever you get far enough away from one of them, they'll get a force applied to them and they'll launch themselves back towards you. Then, if you get hit in the right direction, they'll knock you into the black hole. It's also really interesting because they get affected by the gravity of the other planets, so they can get sucked into the black hole as well, and this creates some pretty funny moments. I also created this particle system for the meteorites that's similar to your thrusters, and it just adds a trail of fire coming off of them and makes them feel more dangerous. And I really like how chaotic the meteorites are making the game feel. Next up, we needed a goal for the player, so I created these diamonds that you'll collect. I made it so 10 of them will spawn at random spots at the start of the game, and then when you pick one of them up, they'll get teleported to a new spot. Then finally for the diamonds, I created this particle system for when you pick one of them up and a sound effect, and I feel like this makes it much more satisfying to collect them. They could also get affected by the gravity of the black hole, and I want to leave this in the game because I thought it'd be funny. But I didn't want it to be impossible to collect those diamonds, so I made it so every 15 seconds they'll get teleported to a new location. Finally, I created a score counter with this space font I found, and I put it in the top left corner of the screen, and whenever you pick up a diamond, your score will go up by 50. Then I made it so if you get sucked into the black hole, this game over screen will show up and let you restart the game. Now, with all of that done, let's try it out. Flying around, getting these diamonds off the start. Looks like we're getting pretty lucky with the spawn. Gravity of that planet almost sucked me in. Alright, here we go. Getting really lucky, all these clusters of diamonds here. Just trying to escape this gravity. There we go, Meteorite came and helped me out. You can see what's up here towards the top of the map. Looks like some of those meteors are getting stuck in the black hole, which is pretty good for me since I don't have to worry about them as much. Getting a triple cluster. Uh-oh, looked like they broke free. Holy moly, that was getting close. Just gonna keep flying up here. Looks like they're all flying at me. All these meteorites are coming. Uh-oh. No, no, no! So that's how I made a platforming game with zero gravity. I know it isn't exactly what you think of when you think of a platforming game, but I think it did really well. I put this game on my itch.io page and the link is in the description if you want to go check it out. My high score is around 1000, so go see what you can get. Thank you so much for watching, please subscribe and go check out another video.